Hello, my name is Marina Oquendo, and I'm currently an undergraduate student at Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas. And today I'll be presenting on preserving the past, shaping the future, using collections processing to tell the stories of Chicanx and Latinx artists from Trinity University. I'm currently majoring in art history, global Latinx studies, and museum studies. So I began this research together with an ongoing digital humanities project titled Conmemorando a la Comunidad, Latinx Experiences at Trinity University. And this project was started in the summer of 2023 by Dr. Tania Abreu Torres, a professor in the Modern Languages and Literatures Department and director of our MAS program, University archivist Aber Schnoor, and student researchers Lee Denny and Seb Mora. And the purpose of this project is to design a space to share archival research and personal narratives with current Latinx students, faculty, and staff, as well as present histories and discoveries with which they can identify. My specific research has been researching Chicanx and Latinx artists who attended Trinity University during the 70s and 80s, and who have gone on to become nationally renowned artists, community activists, and educators. And so the abstract for this project is that archival research has formed the basis of my inquiries into these artists. So looking through our university collections and also through digitized news media articles from the Trinitonian, a student-run newspaper, and also the San Antonio Express, a local newspaper. And we've also conducted oral histories with our alumni as well. But I have found through the physical act of collections processing that I've gained a newfound understanding of these artists' experiences. So using collections process as method, the act of organizing and arranging objects from their lives creates this more nuanced understanding, and it also reveals what was important to these artists and their family members and what they chose to preserve. And they oftentimes reveal aspects of these people's lives that weren't commonly documented in these news media that I have been looking at in our archives. So to begin, Nivea Gonzalez, she graduated from Trinity University with a degree in art in 1983, and she was an artist and educator from and living in San Antonio and Austin for parts of her life. She is most known for her vibrant depictions of brown women within her paintings and prints. And her daughters donated a collection of photographs, slides, exhibition flyers, posters, newspapers, writings, and artworks to the Trinity University Special Collections and Archives in the fall of 2024. And David Elizondo, our other artist of focus for this poster, graduated from Trinity with a degree in art in 1978 and a master's degree in 1986. He's a multimedia and multidisciplinary Chicano artist currently living and working in San Antonio, Texas. His work includes paintings, sculptures, scenes of videos, and digital works. And his donation consisted of a collection of artworks, flyers, photographs, collages, zines, videos, and photographic slides. And the slides, 129 in total, were digitized in the summer of 2023 by myself. And unlike the Nivea Gonzalez collection, by the time that I came on as a student researcher, the entire collection had already been processed by the university archivist, and my job was to do the digitization. So the purpose of this was to gain a deeper understanding of the archival collection through the digitization of these photographic slides, and to then make this collection available via the Trinity University Special Collections and Archives website. So the first step was preservation, as you can see in this image on the right. This is me, student researcher Lee Denny, and then also Dr. Tania Abreu Torres, transferring the slides from their original sleeves, which were actively deteriorating, into archival safe sleeves. And we preserved the original organization when we did this. And this provided us a preliminary understanding of what was in the collection. Then the second step was to scan each slide. And so with my job as a student worker in the art and art history department, I had experience scanning in documents, text, and photographs. But the big task of doing this was to transfer from an Epson scanning system to a Bookeye scanning system, which had its fair share of learning curves. And then step 3 was to compile the metadata. As an art history student, one of our primary skills is describing images. And so I used these skills whenever I was completing this work and creating the 5-sentence descriptions for each image. And then we also used the thesaurus for graphic material provided by the Library of Congress to create tags for each image so that they'd be searchable once they were uploaded. And step 4, once I was finished with the steps 2 and 3, which took about a month was to upload this onto Content DM, our system for looking at images within our special collections website. And I did this with the help of university archivists and other archival staff. And I wrote a short biographical note for this collection. So on to Nivea Gonzalez. Like I mentioned before, I processed this collection from the ground up. And the purpose of this was to preserve her personal materials and look deeper into her art achievements. And eventually, the goal is to make her collection of slides and artworks available on the Special Collections and Archives website. So the first step was to conduct a house visit with her daughter, Regina Antello, and figuring out what's pertinent to the collection and what are items that the family should probably keep. And this is a big part of our work here on the project, and especially with the collections processing, is creating these relationships with artists and their families and being sure that we're all comfortable with being stewards for her mother's legacy. And steps 2 and 3 were really about getting a sense of the material. I went through each object individually, determining if it was pertinent to the collection, and if it wasn't, I put it in a discard pile that we went over towards the end of our arranging. And I began organizing this information into patterns such as exhibition flyers, photographs, certain time-related things like all newspaper articles from the 80s. And then the next step, this took up most of my time, organizing this and figuring out an organization, especially since these objects were not organized when they came to us. And this fourth step was to finalize the organization. So looking at the entire collection, how I had organized it, and what was the most logical way to arrange this, and then file this away in our collection. So this involved a lot of consultation with the university archivist, figuring out the most logical way to organize all this material. And once this was done, I labeled all the folders and created a spreadsheet documenting this organization. And now on to step 5, the part that I'm actively working on is creating a finding aid and biographical note for this collection. And I'm using my archival research background and certain interviews that we had with her daughter to work on creating a biographical note, and then also other notes on related material amongst different folders within the collection. In the future, we'll work on the conservation of deteriorating objects, such as a collage book created during Nivea's time in New York that we now have in a special housing, and working on the digitization of slides and artworks. And this is one of the special requests of Gonzalez's family to make sure that her work remains available to people who are interested in learning more about her. And as an undergraduate researcher, the world of possibilities contained within the archives wasn't revealed to me until I began this work. I understood its importance, especially working within the archives and looking at material, but I didn't realize how the act of physically processing and arranging a collection could reveal to me so much more than what I thought was available. Not only did it help my research, but the fact that these materials will now be available through the Trinity University Special Collections and Archives for years to come will aid in further understanding of the lives of David Elizondo, Nivea Gonzalez, and other artists. I've become more familiar with the large and small achievements of Elizondo and Gonzalez, and through my constant interaction with their physical objects, I believe that I now have the tools to more thoughtfully preserve and retell their important stories. Thank you so much, especially to David Elizondo and the family of Nivea Gonzalez. Scan these QR codes to learn more about our project, and then if you have any questions or comments, send me an email. Thank you.